I recently received an email from one of my most senior disciples, senior in the sense that she and her husband have been initiated by me for many years, and senior also in the sense that they're both, in terms of their bodily age, older than me. She wrote, revealing her heart about something that troubled her. So after the introduction, all glories to the name of the deities in the area she is in, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisance. She wrote as follows. I have this problem. I have realized that my love and affection have not been completely eradicated from my heart. My daughter was suffering from a medical condition. After 2 years on the waiting list, she was finally called for surgery. Her operation was yesterday. I told myself I should not worry and should just chant the holy name. I also had one of the pujaris perform a Narasimha Yagya. Yesterday was Friday the 13th, which for those of you who don't know, in British culture or Christian culture means it should be very unlucky because Jesus is said to have been crucified on Friday the 13th. So yesterday was Friday the 13th, but I reminded myself that it was also Vijaya Ekadashi. Yesterday, my Ekadashi chanting was accompanied by anxiety. My daughter was scheduled for an operation, and my mind repeatedly ran toward thoughts of the procedure. What if the operation did not go smoothly? Even as I sat with my beads, my mind would wander to the hospital room, the doctors, and the possible outcomes. Each time I noticed this, I tried to bring my mind back to the holy name. I told myself that I should be detached. She has her own family. What can I do from here anyway? Better to chant. Yet detachment is not so simple. Affection does not disappear merely because philosophy is understood. The heart feels what it feels. I tried to meditate on Krishna's form, his lotus feet, his yellow garments, his flute resting gently against his lips, his beautiful face. For a few moments, the mind would settle, then again, anxiety would creep back in. Again and again, I brought it back. Being Ekadashi, I was chanting 64 rounds, whether anxiety was present or not, whether the mind was peaceful or disturbed. I resolved to continue. Anxiety or celebration, I would go ahead with my japa. The vow remains even when the mind fluctuates. In that steady continuation, I felt some quiet strength. Each time I brought my mind back to Krishna, it was a small act of surrender. At one point, my grandchildren called, asking if they could come for Ekadashi Prasadam, Alu Goranga. Instantly, my mood shifted. From another angle, Krishna was giving me an opportunity to serve and to preach through prasadam. What I first experienced as an interruption to my chanting became engagement. On the same day that anxiety tried to dominate my consciousness, Krishna arranged service. In that mood, anxiety transformed into prayer. Ekadashi japa in such a state may not have been perfect externally, but I chanted anyway. The mind wanted to run, but the heart chose Krishna again and again. You have given a series of classes on vanaprastha, but nothing is mentioned about how to eradicate material affection towards friends, family, and relationships. My question is, how do I eradicate this family affection? I know that caring for my Prabhu is my duty and a service to Krishna. That will not change in any way. I will be grateful. I am your insignificant servant. Thank you for being a good devotee, good disciple, all these years. It's a relevant question, of course, but it's interesting to see how different people have different sanskars, different impressions in their mind. We have many devotees who are struggling with deeply sinful impressions in their minds, and you are dealing with affection toward your daughter who was raised in your family as a pious devotee, hasn't done any grossly sinful acts in her life, no meat eating, no gambling, none of these gross things. So it's been a very good life. And it's coming to an end, and you're wondering how to be free from family affection. Even Kunti Devi prayed in the same way. I believe you memorized those prayers. I suggested you did that some years ago. She prayed to Krishna, Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi, Jira Pandushu Vrishnishu. Her sons were the Pandavas, all great devotees. And then on the other side, there were the Vrishnis, who were all great devotees. But she's still saying, please, she's praying to Krishna, please cut my tie of affection for them. Because even with devotees, it may be that one has what appears to be some ordinary family affection. Of course, if we're attached to devotees, whatever way, that's all auspicious. But Kunti Devi thought, I'm just thinking in terms of a mother and a cousin and like this. So although the attachments in your heart are not nearly as bad as that of so many other people, you're right that any material attachment we have is going to bind us to this material world. You're doing everything properly, serving your husband in his old age, chanting 64 rounds on Ekadashi. Maybe you could start to do that on other days, or maybe at least 32 rounds, as you don't have so many home responsibilities as you used to have. Study of Shastra you've done deeply for many years, that can continue. How to overcome that family affection? You said that I recommended Vanaprastha life, but I didn't say how to cut the material attachments. Well, Vanaprastha life is part of Varnashram. And Varnashram in itself doesn't cut material attachments. In and of itself, it doesn't affect spiritual advancement. But it is an arrangement to place us in the best psychophysical condition according to our mentality and our present age and status of life. It's to help us optimize our Krishna consciousness. So it's not that Vanaprastha life in itself cuts material attachments, although it's supposed to help with that very effectively. It helps with that. But the real thing is we have to become attached to Krishna and detached from everything that is material. So Vanaprastha life is an arrangement to help us to become detached from everything material. But that comes from hearing and chanting about Krishna. And now you may say, well, I'm already doing that. Very good. And in your situation, the traditional Vanaprastha life of going to the forest, or leaving home, that may not be applicable. But I did suggest in that Vanaprastha series of talks that you go, and one possibility is to go and live in Vrindavan, because that's very powerful. Vrindavan, Mayapur, the dhams are so merciful that they take us back to Godhead, and they magnify our efforts in Krishna consciousness. What difference does it make to you if you're not able to do that? If you're living at home, you're just going on with your life, automatically it may be you're Vanaprastha, you're retired, but you have to make a specific endeavor to cultivate a sense that now I'm going to pass away from this body soon. I don't have any more material duties left, or even if I have, looking after my grandchildren, this and that. But that's not going to go on forever. I'm not going to be here forever. So I have to cultivate very strongly. It's a time to cultivate very strongly when you have no other family duties left or pressing duties left, to become very strongly situated in the consciousness that I am an eternal servant of Krishna and all the Vaishnavas, all the Acharyas in Parampara, and I have nothing to do with this world. Now, that doesn't mean you reject your family members, but you make it clear to them that you want them to help you and relate to you as a servant of Krishna, so that when it comes to the point, if it comes to that point, that you can no longer chant on your beads, you just don't have any physical strength left, that they will come and help to remind you of Krishna. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he set the example in the last few months. He was lying on that bed. Of course, he can leave whenever he likes. He can stay or leave or whatever. Krishna gave him that option. But he had his disciples chant continually. And sometimes they would bring him news of preaching, but he was just absorbed. His disciples were helping him, chanting, chanting, chanting. So you can utilize that family affection by having your family members that now when you come, you only speak to me about Krishna. You only engage me in service to Krishna. Ask them to read to you about Krishna. This is my advice for you. Hare Krishna.